Hubsan Zino Mini Pro, latest update. Got that? Next. Bill, a drone reviewer here. If you like the content of this video or anything on my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. With that, let's begin. The other night I hosted Rotor Talk Live and I was joined by Mr. Ron Brown. We discussed at length the latest update from the Hubsan Zino Mini Pro. So without any further ado, let's roll that clip in its entirety. Now, the hot topic of the night, okay? Hubsan Zino Mini Pro update. And I know you guys have been chatting about it a little bit here. So, and I thought this, and I got a lot to say on this, okay? First of all, let's go to the article. I want to share the article with you guys because there's some good information. DroneDJ, Drone XL, Sally French, guys, they're the ones to go to, and I highly recommend all three of them to go to get drone news because they do a fantastic, each one of them on their own does a fantastic job. Please look at their web pages every day. They do a great job. And that's just a plug for them. You know, I know, hey, Kestelou pretty well. I know Sally French pretty well. You know, I'm not too familiar with the guys at DroneDJ, but they do a good job. So patronize them. Anyway, here. Okay, let's go. Let's go to this here. Okay. I'm going to share the screen. All right. Hubsan Zino Mini Pro go for launch. Okay. And of course, what's the picture you see here, guys? It's from what? The FCC Grant ID Database. How about that? Okay. We see the drone, we see the controller, and we see the adapter. Okay. They got one up on Fimi. They actually give you an adapter here. Okay. Now, let's go here. Okay. And that's because the Zino Mini Pro has just turned up on the database of the Federal Communications Commission, which is usually the final step before a product is released commercially. And then Hubsan apologizes for Zino Mini Pro shipping delay. You know, Hubsan indicates in the video that it's open to procuring chips at a higher price. Also, if that can help to expedite the shipping of the fully assembled drone. The drone maker is also offering compensatory rewards to those who pre-order the Zino Mini Pro before June 15th. These customers will receive complimentary access to Hubsan Care Refresh service worth $59 in a free Hubsan gift bag, okay? First question, what happens if you order it after June 15th? You don't get a thing, okay? All right, Zino Mini Pro stripped down, and you can see there's a bunch of images here, and you can take a look at its works here. And the board and everything. All right. The Zino Mini Pro comes with a 1/1.3-inch, 48 megapixel CMOS camera that films in 4K at 30 frames per second. The drone can fly for 40 minutes on a single charge, which means gives you extra 9 minutes of playtime compared to the Mini 2. And in what will probably be the biggest selling point, the Zino Mini Pro is equipped with 3-direction obstacle avoidance, a feature that DJI offers only in drones costing $799 or more. Hubsan's new drone does seem superior to DJI Mini 2 on many fronts that matter to a hobbyist, but it's still all on paper, and this is an important point. Hubsan has yet to show us how its obstacle avoidance sensors perform in the real world. We've also not seen any sample footage from the drone yet that would help us to understand whether the Zino Mini Pro's bigger sensor, Mini 2 has a 1/2.3-inch 12-megapixel camera, performs better in low light conditions or captures wider angle images than the Mini 2. Hubsan has priced the entry-level 64-gigabyte built-in memory Zino Mini Pro at $459. The starter bundle comes with 2 batteries, 8 props, and a carry bag. Cost you $539. You know, pre-order the Zino Mini Pro without waiting for the reviews. Probably a better option would be to throw in $30 more and get a 3-battery combo for $569. The 128-gigabyte version is priced at $509. $589 and $619 for single battery, 2 battery, and 3 battery combos, respectively. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. Here's my rant. It's a beautiful sunset outside. I'd have tried doing one of these episodes outside one of these days, but it's just been too stinking hot down here. Okay. Sorry for this. Sorry for the sidetrack here. All right. Okay. Okay. Well, it looks like our good friend, Mr. Ron Brown, says he's hearing July 30th, and our good friend, Mr. Lawrence, said the same thing. So that kind of looks like what it's going to be is July 30th. Here's my big question. Okay. And I don't know if somebody can answer me this question or not. Okay. When do these go on pre-order? Okay. Now, all right. Let's kind of back up here a little bit. All right. And I think this is important. Okay. Akarasha, which year? That's a good one. I like that one. That's two thumbs up on that one, Akarasha. I like that. Okay. Which drone? Okay. When you go to pre-order a DJI drone, let's say, it's not shipping immediately. It's already on the FCC Grant ID database. Okay. Hubsan, it was beginning of June. And I'm maybe foggy. It may have been in May when pre-order started for this. Okay. And one of those things that I overlooked, and I think a lot of people overlooked, was this on the FCC Grant ID database? I'm just assuming, yeah, of course, it has to be. Okay. Hubsan had their dog and pony show, which was a total abysmal disaster, with their prolonged question and answer, in Mandarin and in English and converting all that. And just the total disaster that was. And then they come out with their, chips being expensive and sorry for the delay, and we're going to compensate all you people. And then now we see pictures on the FCC Grant ID database. Okay. How, I thought, and this is just me, and I'm not sure, and maybe you guys can enlighten me on this. Yeah, Ron, hang on a second here. Maybe you guys can enlighten me on this. I need to know. Can you pre-order, or can you, without a, I'm sorry, I'm sending Ron. Ron's going to join us. Without a, without it being on the FCC Grant ID database, can you are you allowed to pre-order? Okay. Hey, Mr. Ron Brown, how are you, sir?
Bill, how are you doing today?
I'm doing a lot better today. Good to see you.
That's good to hear. I'm glad you look good, Bill.
Thank you. I'm feeling pretty good. Had a good evening up at the pool. That really kind of really just sets the tone for a good evening here.
Great. I heard you got a nice sunset going on out there.
Beautiful sunset right now. Like I said, I'd love to be able to I might one of these days do a broadcast outside because it's so beautiful. Do one of these. I got a question.
You mean in the fall once the weather cools down?
Absolutely. Got a question for you, Ron.
Yes. Okay. And I heard something you said. I think the pre-order for the Hubsan Zino Mini Pro. I think it was April.
Okay. So
I think my credit card was dinged April 10th.
Yeah, because I ordered mine in May sometime.
Well, maybe I'm totally wrong.
I recall late May ordering it, but my question is this. Okay, I was always under the assumption that in order to sell a drone here in the United States, that it had to be approved by the FCC, even a pre-order.
Well, I don't know that for a fact.
Yeah,
that does line up, but we joke around about this. But maybe this is more of a what do you call it, Kickstarter type of deal, where maybe they don't need it for a Kickstarter. I don't. To your question, I don't know the legalities of taking a pre-order to something that hasn't been approved because this is unknown territory. I mean, all our other drone makers, they take a pre-order like right before the drone's going to come out. Only companies like Fimi and Hubsan, and there's probably other companies like that. They're the only companies in the world that take a pre-order like 3 or 4 months out.
Yeah.
Outside of something that's a Kickstarter,
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I will be fair. The original Zino, it was kind of launched as a Kickstarter, you know what I mean? Even if you got it from Hubsan, I mean, it was worded in a way that you were giving money to something that wasn't made yet. So you kind of understood that on the Zino 1, but that's not the way the Zino Mini Pro. Do I missed the thing?
No, you got it right.
The Mini Pro was sold. They didn't sell us like it was a Kickstarter. They sold it to us like, hey, this thing, you put your money in, and next month you get it.
Yeah, that's exactly, and that's the assumption. I know Marcus made that assumption, and everybody else I talked to made that assumption. And it's like, here we are. It's now end of July, and now, as you reported and as Lauren has confirmed, July 30th seems to be a release date that has been out there and is creating some buzz. And
you saw Rick Smith's video about a week or more ago where he said that, to his information, a container ship has come to New York. So the units, this shipping date is not being you're getting a ship from some far-flung place in Asia. That ship date is from, a warehouse in the U.S. So to me, that's a real shipping date. Tell me you're going to ship something from Asia on a container ship. That's no...
it takes 30 days to get over here. I mean, it's incredible the amount of time it takes for a container ship to travel from China over to the United States. And that's good news. Okay, that is some good news. And but I got to say this, and the guys in DroneDJ really touched upon it. We saw that disaster, live intro thing that Hubsan had, which was a total disaster. But the thing that we have not seen yet, we haven't seen any actual video footage from this yet.
And I want to get into that with you. Okay, we know that LQ2, not, I hate the butcher's name. He's a real nice guy. L something drones. He's in Indonesia. He actually put a short video out where he had it. He did a hover test compared to the Mini 2 Pro, but he hasn't put another video out on the Mini Pro since then. I wonder if he was contacted by Hubsan and told not to make any more videos on it.
Right, you're talking about L3 Toys?
Yeah.
They're great guys.
Yeah. He hasn't put that video is like 3 or 4 weeks old now. He hasn't put anything out since. So he must have been told, hey, you're under NDA. You can't show any more videos on it. So, I mean, you got to give Hubsan credit. They made the worst promotional video of all time. They made the worst delay in shipping, but they keep their people tighten down on their NDAs, DJI's NDAs. They're loosey-goosey. Information's leaking all over the place like a bad sync bill. But Hubsan, their NDA, those things they're locked down.
Yeah, and it's really kind of funny because I would expect by now. I mean, remember when and I'm talking about probably going back to I think the Fimi X8 SE 2020. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And video had come out well ahead of that. Okay. We got to see it. We got to know, what it was like. I mean, albeit it was at night, it was a range test at night from God knows what, 2,000 or 3,000 feet.
Yeah.
But still, at least we had some video. Okay. We had something to digest, something to look at, something to chew on. Here we have nothing. Okay.
No. I mean, this is kind of unheard of. This type of, and we're all afraid. We were all afraid all along. It's because they don't actually have a drone to show this stuff from, whatever. But obviously, if they have one and sent to the FCC, they actually have a real working drone, right, Bill?
Yeah, they have to. I mean, in order for the FCC to approve it, it has to be working, and the FCC actually runs it through a benchmark of tests, and they actually pull it apart. I mean, you saw the pictures. They take all the boards out and they check all the components.
And I hope it's in the hands of a lot of beta testers, because the last thing I want to do is get this drone before it's been thoroughly vetted by the testers, Bill.
Yeah, another
I don't want to be not the alpha tester of this drone.
Well, kind of like what Gorilla Man said about the Fimi Mini. We weren't beta testers; we were alpha testers. Okay.
Yeah, I stole Gorilla Man's line there. I don't want to be the alpha tester of the Zino. I hope all sorts of people have this thing, and they've been flying it hard for the past 3 months and reporting everything back to Hubsan.
The only person who I can begin to think of that may have it and may be testing it and is quiet about it is Steve, Captain Drone. Because he has some pretty good communication with Hubsan. So maybe he does. And that'll be a godsend. If he comes out there and he gets a video out there and we see it and we're looking at that footage and it's good footage, that's going to be exciting. Okay. And, and the other thing too is we haven't really, they say it has obstacle avoidance. Okay. Again, another thing we don't know. All that we've seen was we saw a hover.
If you examine that grant carefully, it's in there. It has, I know it has front and rear obstacle avoidance. That's in the that database thing you showed earlier.
Mm-hmm. It has it. And the only thing, and we saw L3 toys. And it was a hover test, and we saw what DJ or Hubsan's disaster live event, which somebody's all they had to do was watch the drone and they failed their job. Disaster kind of a thing, but we don't know. I mean, that's another unknown. We really don't know that. So it's like, yeah, but that's part of the beauty of this. We'll find out coming up here in probably a little bit more about 10 days.
Yeah.
We'll probably have them in our hands.
And not only with that PR thing with the crashing bad, but now in retrospect, it's even worse that they put a preview out for something that was nowhere near getting released.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That thing was what, end of May or something?
Yeah.
And here we're almost in August. And so why do a PR event so far out?
Yeah, it was so far out. And I've heard the reasoning, and I'll call it reasoning for lack of a better term. I should say use the word excuse. I've heard a lot of people talk about the chip shortage. Okay. Well, let's say this. Okay. The chip shortage has affected everybody. All right. I know from having to get a new car this year, having to wait. Okay. That's been a waiting game on everybody. But if it was so bad, okay, DJI would have a problem cranking out drones. Fimi would have a problem cranking out drones. Everybody would have that problem. Is it an excuse? Who knows? My guess is probably, I would to say on the one side, yeah, it probably was an excuse. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either, because the more they delay it, the more they hurt themselves. Like, there'd be no reason to delay the drone unless there was some real reason, whether it could be parts, whether it could be they don't have the firmware right. There's obviously a reason, and whatever that reason was, I hope it's thoroughly vetted and sorted out before that drone ships out to us, Bill.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope that when we get this, okay, that it isn't the disaster that the Fimi Mini is, okay?
Right.
And I got to say this, our good friend Marcus is a trooper. I mean, he is a trooper to the nth degree, and he has given the Mini, and Marcus, if you're watching, kudos to you, because you have given that drone not once, not two, you've given it multiple opportunities.
Talk about giving a fair shake, huh?
He really has. Okay. And, and God bless you, Marcus, for doing that stuff, because, there's point. I mean, I didn't mind my videos coming together. I'm going to get it out. It's just, I've had things going on here.
Right.
But, one of the things that I will say is I didn't experience the issues that Marcus did. Okay. Which is unusual. Okay. One of my issues was the Fimi Mini would deviate off course, and it was significant. I mean, it required input from the stick to try to keep it on a straight course. It was pretty bad.
What did we call that with the Zino 1? We used to have a name for it where it wouldn't fly straight.
That deviation. Yeah, there was.
Yeah, we had like a I don't know, cooler sounding word. The deviation sounds real technical. They used to be like a slang word they had for but I forget what that was now.
Yeah, but
that was correct. That was corrected in the firmware update at one point. Hopefully Fimi could fix your deviation.
Yeah, and just really kind of, I had an okay experience, but and one of the things that I'll say about that in comparison here, okay, I think Fimi rushed it to market to beat Hubsan. All right, they wanted to get it out there ahead of Hubsan because they knew Hubsan was coming out.
Well, they didn't have to hurry that much.
Yeah, well, it was if they would have spent some time pulling it back, saying, look, let's get this right before we put it out. I mean, Fimi seems like a reasonable company, and I know Marcus has had good experience with their customer service. I have as well. They seem to be pretty responsive to stuff, much more so than Hubsan is. but you know, had they waited a month, even a month, Ron, had they waited a month, had they done some more real, true beta testing before they put it out, they could have done some tweaks with the firmware and really kind of honed it up and made it a decent drone. Instead, okay, the only people I recommend to buy this drone are drone enthusiasts like you, like me, like Marcus, like a lot of our followers. You know,
hardcore, yeah.
Yeah, I don't recommend, you know, you're going out to buy your first drone, don't look at the Fimi Mini. Don't even think about it.
That'll be your last drone.
Yeah, it'll be your last one, and you'll get a bad taste in your mouth. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Fimi, all the goodwill they kind of had built up with the you know, the 2 X8s or whatever in a row, the 2018 to 2020, all that goodwill they just lost it right back with the Mini. It's a shame. They built up, said, I know they took Crooked Horizon, but they kind of built up a little bit of faith, you know, whatever, and they lost it all back. And to your point, if the Mini Pro comes out and it's the same type of disaster, I mean, that's really going to, you know, Fimi, Hubsan, that's going to make the drone buyers really lose faith in the challengers to DJI. And what if DJI all of a sudden say, hey, the Mini SE is out here and it's only $299? Like Brian Singleton said in a video recently, you know, like DJI with their low cost mini drones, they could kill this low cost market or whatever.
Absolutely.
And you know, Fimi and Hubsan, I mean, this drone is out yet, so I'm not down to whatever. But if it's not the success we hope it is, they're killing themselves. You know, they're digging their own graves, is the old saying, right?
Exactly. I mean, you know, if you don't take the time to, DJI will. Brian's right. DJI will crush them. I mean, they will absolutely crush them in all aspects. Okay, with the technology, with availability, and with pricing. Okay, I mean, you know, and you probably saw it. I don't know if you caught that part of the show about the Mini SE, and it's available in Canada. And Lauren has said that, where, you know, it appears on the FCC Grant ID Database. So it's pretty much it's a done deal. It's going to happen here in the United States as well. But I mean, having that kind of a price point on that kind of a drone from DJI, if you would look at that and look at Hubsan or look at Fimi, you would have to be nuts not to get the DJI drone. Absolutely nuts, Ron.
Right. Well, I mean, again, that's, you know, if the Hubsan's everything, it's if it works like it says it is, it's going to have all these extra features that the DJI SE won't have. Like, it won't have obstacle avoidance and track. You know, there's, again, I mean, I'm not going to say it's a failure. I mean, it's a failure coming out in time, but, you know, the drone can still show up and be a good drone, and it will distance itself, you know, especially from the Mini SE, and maybe even distance itself from the Mini 2 if it has improved video quality and it has your obstacle avoidance, your tracking features. Kind of, you know, it'll be that halfway drone, halfway between the Mini 2 and the Air 2 series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
I bet you, I feel there is a market for somewhere between those two drones.
I agree 100%. I mean, you know, that gap there, that price gap that's there, okay, that's ready to be tapped, okay? And I think what's going to happen here, and this is just my conjecture about a Mini 3. I mean, you know, I always love the November date because it seems like DJI, you know, they came out with the first Mini in November, you know, and I think the second Mini came out in November. They're probably going to do the same thing this year. And, you know, and the timing is right with the marketing, Ron, because, you know, Black Friday will come up and Christmas is coming and holidays. And, you know, it's just like it'll be sitting under a lot of Christmas trees this year. And why not? Okay. And it'll probably be in that price point. And I think you really kind of hit the nail on the head. You know, there's that gap between what the Mini 2 is right now and the Air 2S. There's nothing there. Okay. There's nothing of substantial that is there. Okay. Yeah. And I think DJI is going to hit that with a Mini 3. And it's going to be another home run.
And Hubsan is trying to beat them to that middle ground between the two drones. But, you know, if they can't get the product out the door, it doesn't matter. You know, if they can't get it out and get it out enough ahead of time that they get a little, you know, they kind of get a little ground in there before the Mini 3 comes out. You know, they establish some goodwill. Yeah,
I mean, you know, if they establish some goodwill, and here's the thing, and I kind of was alluding to this a little bit earlier here. Okay, you know, Hubsan has put a lot into this drone, and by rights, you know, on paper and what we see, it looks really good. I mean, we'll find out. But okay, and here's the big thing: when that Mini 3 comes out, it's probably gonna say bye bye. I mean, it's gonna have probably, you know, obstacle avoidance all over. And
oh yeah, I'm sure it will, but it'll probably also top the Hubsan price.
Oh, definitely.
DJI is going to have to do all that and not raise the price by much, and that's not going to happen. You're not going to get all those extra bells and whistles for the current. What is the current price of the? I mean, $459 or $449.
Yeah,
you're going to see a price bump to get all that
absolutely.
extra bells and whistles. So now they've got to compete on a price tag.
Question of the day: what do you think of the latest update regarding the Hubsan Zino Mini Pro? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, it's a great day to fly.